So, what I believe that we agreed to was that the number one of our work plan would be research. And if you see in, the goals, the goal packet that I gave to everybody, it was a letter that Kit, drafted last year that would go for goal number one, pages of her huge packet that she gave. And yet I do have it, there is your whole packet, if you'd like to refer to that at all. So, that was goal number one, and we'll come back to, yes.
Could I add that I have a questionnaire too? But I
Yes.
don't have it with me.
Yeah. Yes, and so, when we get to, we can talk more about goal number one when we get there. The second one was the emergency plan approval. And, that Red is going to talk about, you'll notice in your packet on page 4 and 5, there's things about that, and Red will address those. And then healthy lifestyles in the community was number 3. And I was wonderfully, it was wonderful. I saw, hi, Mr. Naxted. Councilmember Naxted. I saw that.
I'm both.
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Do you need packets?
but I'm be nice, actually. For a couple of minutes. Here.
And so, we were just talking about what we had discussed last time. And I wondered at this point if it would be, if, first of all, on goal number 3, Barbara Mudig, she's the one that initially brought up the subject on goal number 3 on healthy lifestyles in our community. And she and Gina emailed me things that you can see on page 6 and 7. They came up with some things. So I wonder if I don't need to facilitate this, if we, those of you, for instance, Kit had maybe wants to take goal number 1. What we'll plan to do then is I will write, as we're doing it, we have to come up with a strategy and a narrative on why it benefits the city, who needs to be obtained enough funds. And then I'll do the writing of these. Muted.
Wasn't sure, but that's about it. Sorry to interrupt.
Unmute myself. No, that's good.
Looked like you weren't recording, but I mean, there was.
It is recording, but it's. So I, then in our meeting following this, then we can vote on that finalized work plan. Does that, okay. So if anybody needs a copy of what the work plan looks like, it is in your work session packet. And just a blank one, so you know the questions that we're gonna need to talk about it. So Kit, why don't, if you're okay with this, Rach, if Kit takes the first one, I'm totally. Okay. Pardon me?
We are wanting to develop objectives
For your, the goal for you, which is on the which would be your goal number 1 from last year, goal number 3 from last year.
I think the first one would be to distribute the through our fact collection, distributing the letter to the local schools and colleges with the questionnaire.
So what is the actual objective with this one? Oh, you're talking about the strategy now? We're voting on this. Yeah.
Basically, you take
Are we filling in this sheet now? Sure, if everything's
I
on the
think-
right sheet.
I think they're trying to. do
I'm
more
working, I'm filling it in. I think I just gave it for everybody to have something to refer to.
Oh, okay. So we're looking at goal number 1 and the objective
Yes,
that we're looking
I
at is,
assume that's what we're doing.
Yes,
doing the
yes.
objective. Yeah. So I'm saying for goal number 1, the first objective would be to collect data, which would include mailing the letter out to the school.
that would be the strategy though, I think.
I don't know the difference between the strategies and the
Well-
objectives.
What is
Um,
the strategy or the objective? What's our end goal in line? What is the end thing that we're hoping to achieve by this?
So I think that what to do is identify or support programs or opportunities for seniors to volunteer. I think that's basically what we were talking about, and to interact with younger people, younger generations. That's how it started out as
and
generation.
that stated already.
So basically, yeah, what you're saying is that the goal might be senior generational interaction.
Right.
Yeah,
How
and
to
maybe,
attack that,
yeah,
how to go about it.
and I
To
think
maximize, facilitate or maximize interaction between generations.
on the first page that you have, the second paragraph, I think that we could change that there. Identify programs, intergenerational programs, which would help, to identify intergenerational programs from the high school, college age youth. Programs for seniors and high school, college age youth.
Identify opportunities for collaboration or to identify opportunities for intergenerational programs between seniors. Is that something like that, between
Yeah, right.
seniors and youth or college age?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that that's what you want to go for objective?
That's a good thing because we're also asking them for their input
Yes,
and approach from what we receive from them. And that's good.
right. Yeah, that was the intent of the questionnaire.
Coffee and water. And cookies. So your strategy, developing a letter and survey. Or distributing letter and survey.
Distributing letter.
Right. Addition, after we collect the information, then we need to evaluate and identify possible programs.
Is there a difference in approach between the high schools and the college over there? Just all be fleshed out.
You know,
how
I
they
don't know
respond.
the answer to that. There may be, or there.
And then they maybe revealed how they respond to us.
But I think are on a different track than
Right.
college students are.
Okay.
So.
We're pretty informed.
What about
like the younger kids, because they have like reading buddies in elementary school and stuff like that, is there a reason to stop at high school?
No. There isn't, and in part of my research, it did include some of those kinds of programs.
I think just saying intergenerational programs would cover
It would
I
cover all
think-
ages, yeah.
from,
One example of that would be was a program, and I know our mayor participated in it. We just go in and do story to the kids.
Rachel's done that.
Exactly, that's.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I know our mayor participated in the program and others too, that would just go into littles, youngers, and just read a story to
Right,
them. And then
that it could be as simple, which is happening now is when school age groups come in and entertain us. I mean,
Yes.
that's me kind of the first, but it can be developed further. I mean,
certainly both ways.
you could help with homework, you could, if you're looking at for seniors to be doing any of that. Games here at the senior center and interacting, maybe an after school program somehow. Later in the afternoon, we have intergenerational group.
Questionnaires will have a better idea of what they feel they could participate in to provide. Or their desires to interact with seniors.
I agree, and then like the seniors that have senior projects to do, we've had seniors come in and do projects here. And with that umbrella too, I would think.
Add to that, so one of the misconceptions in our community, we've done this when we did the 30-year. When the thing that's on the back wall and the craft room that you and Marge put together, all those pictures, was that our 30-year anniversary? So we, for the senior center, the misnomer of what the senior center actually is. I was at my doctor with her last week, and he is to the peninsula. And she said, she was telling him, he asked, well, who is with you today, Vivian? And she said, she's the director of Kenai Senior Center. And he said, and the nurse came in and I was folding up, Mom getting up, taking a robe out, and I'm folding it up. She goes, oh, I can tell you work in the medical field. Don't, but that's a misconception. And it is even 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it was it's still a misconception that we're a nursing home and a medical facility. And so maybe, for instance, Alaska Christian College called this week, and Kayla will be calling them back next week. They have a choir, they'd like to come and sing. And we'll schedule them in April. And so there may be missed opportunities for the misconception of what the senior center is. So in that, can we educate them on what we're not a nursing home, we're not even an assisted living. Actually, not even connected with that, which, so anyway, could we put that as part of our strategy?
Educate the community through intergenerational programs reflecting what we do. The senior center does.
Yeah, we could identify our programs and how it fits into the community at large. And with that, we can say, yeah, we're not a nursing home, we're not do this, but we offer these activities.
Having some of the activities here as we discussed, and that goes a long way in educating people of what we do. And we have fun here. we do game ever. And particularly if it's the students, or they're going home and they're telling their parents, oh, I went to the senior center and guess what I did?
Change the name of the senior center, call it
Community center.
activity, senior activity, for older adults.
Okay, so the strategy. So, would that one be first in identifying the programs? Identify senior center programs.
Maybe we could include in also the strategy, the research of the, what other people have done in this area. Or how they went about setting up, facilitating these kinds of programs. Although we're doing it, we're attempting to incorporate, findings from other, areas, centers as to the type of research they did in developing programs. I know the government, the central, federal government has programs where the seniors read to children. But using even the federal government as a model.
Well, I think in the report that we did, there's,
Pretty thorough.
there's those kinds, that kind of information.
That would be incorporated, right?
So would you identify our programs, how they fit into the community? So that when we distribute the letter and the survey, we have those programs in place first. So would the strategy would be identifying the programs of the senior center and how they fit into an intergenerational program. We have to give them something so that they would be community. The second, does that make sense to have that one the first on the strategies? So that when you distribute your letter and survey, it will have that information in it.
That does make sense.
Then when you collect the information, what are you going to do with it?
I think we have to sit and first identify the programs that they offer. Intergenerational programs that they offer, and I guess we need to make a decision if that was something that we want to participate in. Also, we include programs they may not have, but they may be interested in. And that said, I think this would be a good program and we would participate in it. So it's basically see what's out there, see what would be a good fit for the center. And then that sort of gives us a base to start from to build our program.
And identify various programs that various programs through the solicitation, what they offer, make decision on participation based on the fit to our seniors. Is that verbiage okay? Okay.
How about if, number one, dialogue with other seniors? See if they have similar programs or a program that, instead of us reinventing the wheel.
So that's what I was saying, that we could look at what other people have done.
Would think that'd be the first thing.
That would be on.
Sure.
I guess. Chip,
Yes, Sterling.
There's McKiskey, Tottenham, Sterling, Manilchik, and Homer, all got senior centers.
So the only thing I would question on that bill is, first of all, we're the grandparent of the senior centers. So most of them, we have far more activity, far more things going than any of them else. They come to us and ask us what we're doing, usually. But
we're also, we are also, these are goals for a commission on aging within the city of Kenai. So we're looking for schools and elementary schools, Kaleidoscope, all the schools that are within Kenai Peninsula College would fit into that because they're only college. But I would question whether or not we are going to, I see what you're saying. I see that would be, it's not like we can't learn any new tricks.
I'm thinking an Anchorage operation, senior center of
Kodiak.
not the
Anchorage.
peninsula,
Or other
Some
states,
use have-
other states even.
bigger or other states, larger organizations. They can,
Did you do that in your research?
We can look
No,
on their
I didn't.
websites,
Just go on.
look on their websites and get ideas if they fit. If not,
Since we were focusing on specifically the intergenerational programs in basically high school and colleges here, I did not do that. And it's fancy, we never did anything done.
Sure, but we could whittle it down.
Right.
But if we had an idea of what other people have done, we could maybe take a small piece of it.
Well,
To
I
look
can
at-
certainly do a web search of what the local
Yeah.
senior center.
And it might refine our approach.
I hear what you're saying though, Kit, if they contacted like the high school or the college and got input, what do they want to see? And then it could be created from there and not necessarily a remake, if I hear you right.
Yeah. But I don't mind doing a quick search of what's available, just so we don't
Right.
duplicate.
So Kit, we could easily send. How we could do that without spending an enormous amount of time. We've got Anchorage, Fairbanks is a very active senior community, Fairbanks, so is Wasilla. Wasilla is, Anchorage is, but just different, Kodiak is in. We send a letter to them from, just like we're doing this, to saying, they all have activity coordinators, the big ones have activity coordinators. What intergenerational programs does your center offer?
and
I
how does
think
it
that
work?
could be a strategy.
That is, yeah, kind of, yeah,
Do you want that as strategy number 4? Reach out to,
Statewide or.
reach out to other senior centers. Other parts of the state. As to what intergenerational programs they have.
Similar to the ones we have in the school.
You know, because I'm sure they must have some
Oh, I'm sure they do.
big intergenerational programs that might.
I would think that that would be very appropriate, and I thought that myself, I just haven't done it.
I know a gal,
Yeah, okay,
call her. See
yeah,
if she can at least give me who she can get a hold of, and I can give you her name and number.
sure.
Strategies.
You read what we have.
That. Give me my writing. Identify programs, programs within the senior center. And how they fit into the community. How they fit into the community. I put so they would also promote. So I could stop there, identify programs within the center and how these programs fit into the community we now serve. And we did that because we're gonna be selling the senior center. We want people who we're distributing information to get a firm understanding of what we do. Is that right? So when you leave it at that, identify programs within the senior center and how these programs fit into the community. Does that sound good?
How would you do that? The fit, identify the fit.
Home delivered meals,
Uh.
who they're for. Congregate meals, who they're for. So
Oh,
many people
right.
don't know that we're transportation, where we go. We're just giving a broad what all we do. Okay, so number 2, distributing the letter and survey. A letter and a survey to, who are we distributing this to?
Schools, colleges, other senior centers.
To,
And maybe you just say the groups and, educational groups and, community groups.
from youth to college age.
Oh.
So number 2 is distributing a letter and a survey to community groups of youth to college age to find out interest. That would be one of the strategies for the thing. I don't think that we have to say exactly what we're finding out, right? We're all working on the same common goal. Okay. So number 3, collect and identify various programs that others offer and make decisions. Okay, collect and identify various programs community groups offer and make decisions of participation based on fit to seniors. Collaborate. Fit or collaboration.
Collaboration. Okay. All right, so collect information and identify various community programs of various programs that other community groups offer and make decisions on participation based on collaboration with seniors. That sound right? Okay. Yes.
Okay, number 4, reach out to other senior centers in other parts, in other areas of Alaska. As to what intergenerational programs they currently have. That makes sense.
And again, how we do those is not necessarily in chronological order.
No, you're right. You're right. Okay. Is that enough strategy? That's one strategy.
That's a lot.
So the narrative, describe the benefits to the residents and visitors of the city of Keenan.
That hopefully the community will become the center function.
So ties in with our other goal of senior health,
Yes.
because of loneliness and the need to be needed and still be a contributing factor to the world.
We can put brings opportunities for seniors to become involved in ways they may not.
Part of that is revealed here on page 3 with the benefits to older adults.
Yes.
That's very well written.
Section that has about the benefits for younger people, like benefits. For both, yeah. That, I pulled that up, you know, research.
As well as the senior center and the seniors.
Youth and older adults collaborate on community projects together. That's great. Specific programs pair students with older adults in school.
Benefits of intergenerational program are well recognized and mutual. Leaders that encourage intergenerational interactions are helping showing affection, flexibility, and reinforce changes that actually occur. Participate in this. The ability to improve their skills. Such as staying on task, empathy.
Of course, it's true as well. They can teach us how to use computers.
Exactly. It's in this section, benefits for younger people.
And that section.
Where is it? It's in the one where it has goal number 1 on it.
But I didn't give everybody everything we got.
Okay, sorry. Let me just go quickly for you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Benefit for younger people. Research shows that when younger adults or children collaborate or receive mentorship from older adults, a marked boosting of school performance occurs. Many students end up attend school more consistently and improve their communication skills, leading to an increased likelihood of continuing education. They feel cared for and appreciated, which helps with motivation and self-esteem. Some children may come from troubled households or background and need responsible and compassionate adult care. In the same vein, these young adults are mentored by seniors are less likely to skip school or use illicit drugs. For much younger students, they gain the ability to gain improved skills, as I said before. As students get past surface level communication, a greater appreciation of aging and reduced stereotyping also happens. And that's seeing what we do at the senior center. College and high school students are able to understand the number of issues related to aging while also gaining work experience and giving back to the community. Benefit for older adults. Social isolation and loneliness are significant problems and can result in depression and anxiety. Social interaction with younger people can counter the effects of isolation. A sense of purpose and feeling useful is vital to self-esteem and well-being. When an adult can assist a younger person, they fulfill that need. This extends to working on projects and tasks together and mentoring opportunities. Part of successful aging is being proactive and engaged with life. When aging adults interact consistently with other people, it improves cognitive ability. For volunteer programs that assist older adults, for many Those who can't afford help in the home, volunteers can add a layer of support. I think those are all kind of the very practical advantages of doing it.
So what you just outlined there was creating an atmosphere of communication for the concept of intergenerational
Exactly.
empathy.
That's what we want to do.
That's what it's here.
Yeah, that's where our aim is. And
Tried to.
Sure.
Should the-
I couldn't write that fast.
Works.
Okay. All right, so the narrative described the benefits to the residents and visitors of the city. So community awareness of the senior center and how it functions.
Yes.
Of senior center and how it functions
And seniors.
and its function. Community awareness. Right? Okay. Reduces stereotyping of the senior population.
Yeah.
I took that out of that. It decreases loneliness for older adults. It also, mentoring youth only brings about positive results.
In the sense of feeling.
Wait a minute.
Self-worth.
Decreases loneliness for older adults and increases,
The sense of worthiness, of feelings.
Yeah.
that's a
Value.
worthiness. It
I am
increases.
important, I can share stuff. with you.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
about, okay. Okay, so in the 4, community awareness of the senior center and its function. 2, reduces stereotyping of the older population, of the senior population. Decreases loneliness for older adults and increases sense of value. And increases sense of value for older
Increases.
adults. How's that?
Personal value.
Yeah, and in personal value. Okay. And mentoring youth only brings about positive changes, positive brings. Now, do you want to add anything more to the narrative? It's a great
I don't think
study.
so.
It's developed. It's a good idea.
Yeah. In collaboration, who needs to be involved to attain this objective? Hit.
Seniors.
Again, this can't be a one-man out show either.
No.
absolutely not.
I'll help you.
Thank you, Bill.
And it would be the commission on aging.
Yeah.
Right. Do we need funds for this?
You're gonna send letters and questionnaires or?
Senior center.
Well, senior center. I was assuming the senior center would do that.
Do the mailings and so forth.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Your question is money above and beyond what the senior, we need extra money to do this program or something.
Wanted to build, like Soldana has that big thing they're building there. What if you put one there, then what funding would be there? Well, we need like 10 million.
That three goes first.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so are you good on your first objective?
Yes.
What about the time to complete? I think
I assume that's for this fiscal year
Yeah.
is what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Okay, all right.
With
Sure.
Yeah, meetings like this, an update.
We like work sessions.
Suggestion when we get this all done. All. Some of it upon completion. This could be mirror or reflected on our part of the city website.
Good idea.
Okay, that'll be a good way to communicate, but that would be the final work product, and it'd probably have to be edited down.
Okay. Okay, if you go to page on your packet for here. Thank you for all your work on it.
Great.
So goal number 2 that you talked about last time was the emergency plan approval. And before Red starts with that, I talked with the city clerk. So, and the fire chief, the plan would be to, once this is completed, you would be, it would be shared with you to kind of work out kinks and things and the final result. And then Council on Aging would submit a recommendation to council that this be added to and approved, and it would go to the city's emergency plan for that. And so, Red, I'm gonna let you take from there.
I will correct the timeline on your page after page 4. That timeline is incorrect. That was the timeline that I initially gave the state of Alaska, before they even decided whether or not we were getting funds, and I don't even think funds have been distributed yet, but we've still all sort of moved forward. This plan is not to replace the city's emergency plan. Very thorough and very detailed. However, it does not include the senior population, more to that we are a senior site that will need people to come and rescue us, is basically the generic form of it. But unfortunately, the Older Americans Act, and that is where we get some of our funding through the state of Alaska, dictates that we have a site-specific plan. So this plan that we're contracting through Katmai Solutions is going to come and it's going to encompass the city's plan already, but become more senior and site-specific. So I'll give you an example. COVID was not an emergency any of us thought would be here. And during that time, what did the state do? Shelter in place, shut everything down. That was their first initial thing. So one of the goals of this first is to have a contingency plan so that there isn't interruptions to home meals or congregate meals or transportation to people who are isolated in their homes. That's one of the key things that this plan has got to encompass. It has to take consideration into mobility issues and chronic health conditions, those isolated, those with unique needs. So this plan that I literally just today did the survey for, the book survey for, and gave them the beginning information. So from now through June 30th, we will be putting to myself, Kathy, Katmai Solutions, and then on a side note, the Kenai Senior Center, the Nikiski Senior Center, the Nilchik Senior Center, and no, it's not Soldotna. So us, it would be us. Seward, thank you. We are all also forming a collaborative emergency plan. So in the event that there's an emergency, we'll all be on the same plan and we can back each other up because there are places where we overlap. Also, Seward is very remote, so is the Nilchik. You figure if certain roads are shut down, supplies don't come. So we have to have these relationships to be able to form these. My goal is to have this emergency plan ready to be implemented by
August first. That will give us 30 days left of the grant reporting cycle to work out any kinks and to have it put into place. So look for more information coming July, pre-August, to where I will have more of a presentation for you. This is basically just information for me to share with you right this minute, that this is what we're working on. And I'll leave you guys to formally put the verbiage. And then if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Yes, sir.
Is any of this already in place for the city? Would we be in the existing plan?
No, actually, we would have less work as far as the city has partnerships with the Kenai Peninsula Borough. We have our own fire and police. We also have a relationship with the troopers. There's some in place. However, the senior center has never been identified as an area. It's not even been listed as a resource for meals. I mean, hypothetically, we could be open and distributing meals out to the community at large, not just the senior population, if there was that kind of an emergency. But it's never been that. So yes, this is a big deal.
We need an objective for this emergency plan.
I heard her say that at least one of the ideas here is that we would be able to provide seniors with meals, even if there's an emergency.
Correct.
So we have to be careful on one thing, on the fact that we, Council on Aging, are not taking on this grant and
Right.
working on that plan. What the goal for, what the obligation for Council on Aging, and why I've asked you for this, is that you are going to be hearing it, and we'd like to bring it to you so that you approve it and give a recommendation. Well, you're not gonna necessarily approve it, you're gonna recommend that the council accept it. And that would be the proper thing if a site-specific plan would be. So
So you're asking for an objective for the senior center to complete this emergency.
It's an emergency
Plan.
operations plan.
Plan and operation to be able to
review it, for you guys to review.
review.
Input. For final, what would it be? For final recommendation to the council, maybe?
Perfect, that's perfect. So how are we gonna word that?
Objective would be to review the plan that's
Review and suggest.
in whatever
New emergency plan for center,
right,
and recommend
The fourth recommendation to the council.
perfect.
That this. Granted, it was the state, we have money to spend, and we'd like you to focus in this area, which will not say no to money, but I firmly feel with some of the things that have happened to senior populations in the lower 48, where, they've kind of been excluded from having these kind of plans in place, that if, we are the model, that this could potentially be put in
Sure.
place everywhere. Yes.
Would you
Work with senior center staff or
staff work with emergency programs that we have in place, as well as
Say a single point of contact, right?
So basically, she's going to present this to you as a group. And you give back feedback and then approval to move on.
So ultimately, when the volcano goes off in the form and someone's stubbed up a single point of contact. Plan goes into effect.
Pretty much.
Isn't that, why simply because the city has protocols, and I was reading through their emergency plan,
Yeah,
they
that's true.
ideally,
That's why you have.
they
that's
ideally
why you
would be
have
the
someone
first,
that's
and
aware of
then-
all this.
yep, you're correct.
So this isn't gonna be a huge goal for you. This is gonna be, there's not a lot you're gonna need to do. And, but you're gonna be the guinea pigs for reading this, and because you are seniors, so all of us are seniors. Some of us are working towards seniors.
according to the city's emergency plan, Kenai Senior Center would support that plan and move forward to have more established and direct seniors in the community, to support seniors in the community.
That's great, and then I think that would go to narrative probably, and why we're doing this, but you guys are going to be, you're gonna be the ones to review and give feedback. That, to me, that would be your strategy. Review and give feedback to the emergency plan.
Monitor, you would be monitored.
So it would be reviewed back to,
Yeah, well, yes,
or who grants that are developing it, or just,
so only the peninsula decided to do this emergency operations plan, because most of the larger municipalities and larger senior center already had emergency operations plans. So many of them ordered shelf-stable foods and connexes to store it and generators to be able to continue running their buildings should there be a disaster. Oliver trays, because you'll see an increase in home meals, things like that were done with many others. But us on the peninsula who have kind of not had this before, I mean, the others, you know, they're not municipality owned, they're privately owned.
right,
And so they've never had anything other than, you know, the base. So the idea was if we teamed with each other, and Nikiski took, they actually wrote it one step further. They're the ones that are paying for the training part between the 4 senior centers. We are not paying for that out of our funding. We're paying for our own plan that complements the ones that's going to be done. And then it also pays for the first aid kits being replaced. I'm going to purchase shelf-stable food for 50 people, and the AED replacements. Those were things that I wrote for in it. And then, of course, so not only is Katmai helping us to write this plan, but they are also providing training. So that may be another step if you guys want to take it further, being part of that training package, where they will provide a virtual training where they actually give you a disaster and you report on how you would maneuver that disaster. So
Would you be interested in that?
be like a fire drill.
okay.
Do you want that as a strategy?
Attend the emergency ops planning training session prior to implementation, maybe.
Well, that would be an evaluation of the plan.
It would be. Say that again, then.
Oh, it only comes out once like that. Attend the emergency operations plan training prior to implementation.
Started.
And then who would be the ones that would do that? Council on Aging or city?
Oh, no, I can have up to 50. So it can be volunteers, it can be staff,
Okay.
it can be you guys. I said I have room for 50 in here. I'll make it work.
I would love to have our 2 boards. I think it would be great to have our 2 boards,
Okay.
and that's not 50 people.
No.
So,
We're hoping that we're seniors. That's specific.
Just one observation.
yes, they're really busy right now, March 1st.
One observation. Greg was mentioning, you know, when we're going through the certain supplies we have waiting, shelves, table foods and whatnot. What's on the TV now is that Mount Spur might go off. So probably we should add some N95 masks.
So while I don't disagree with you, but this
Okay,
grant
at
is
some point-
already, no,
At some
this
point,
I
at
think
some
would
point in
be
time, then we should do that.
agreed.
And then probably air filters for our vehicles. Because
Agreed.
we'll
Agreed.
drive around. I don't.
So just to show you, I don't know. Okay. They had a meeting today, and I'm sure council will be updated at some point, but as far as we know, fire, public works, police, and Dave Ross is acting police right now, is acting fire, is acting city manager, thank you. They are, they're getting together to set up protocols. It's been since 92 since we've had volcanoes. So what protocols are for not only buildings, but for our staff and employees. And so we'll be hearing about that soon. And I'm got a PO in for Home Depot for 95 now. And you know that.
Perfect.
Yeah, I have some at home, but not enough for everybody here. So, but I would assume the city is going to be on top of that. Public Works is really going to be on top of that as well, because we got air handlers everywhere. You know, stuff. So
You'll get feedback, you said soon,
soon, assuming there is an email, but it doesn't, it just says they're working through, and Terry's gonna be headed home this weekend too, so they'll have protocols in place. 2 weeks to 2 months is what we've heard. So. Okay, so strategy. The first strategy I have is review emergency plan and give feedback accordingly. 2, and not specifically in any order, attend emergency operations plan training prior to implementation. Right. That would give you a really good purview on what that is.
Yeah.
So you're well informed. It's not like you just don't want a commission that's rubber stamping everything to move forward to, you know, so I think that's a great objective. It's a great, any other strategy?
And make recommendations would be for changes.
Sure.
We would.
Review and give feedback accordingly.
That training will be most helpful because you'll actually have the person who's helping us to create this to answer questions. Absolutely.
Anyone here would like to attend that meeting?
And what's for the residents?
How does the goal you have, the objective you have benefit
This is,
the city?
contributes to a safe environment and for all citizens. We're contributing to an overall safe, secure environment and event of safety for all citizens.
Are we focusing just on seniors? Seniors, yeah.
For the senior population.
Provides a proactive group to.
Provides,
It was. It was.
provides a proactive
Develop a proactive group that will provide the city. It's a component maybe the city hasn't looked at, I don't know. We are.
Develop a proactive group that provides the city with
press.
emergency procedures for
That will be in place.
senior
for seniors.
population? Are we focusing just on senior population in the grant? Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
because that's what the Old Americans Act has deemed, is that you guys have been provided this funding for many, many years, but you're not being specific to seniors.
Yeah.
Hence, everything shut down during COVID, and you had all those people who were isolated in their homes that were suddenly just stuck.
So is that, is that just for seniors or is that for seniors and people with disabilities?
No, this
Just
is
seniors.
senior specific.
Okay.
Your narrative, you're contributing to a safe environment for the senior population. So number two, you develop a proactive group that provides city emergence, that provides the city, that provides feedback to the city.
I think this is another layer of support. So you figure in a crisis, the fire department and the police department and what have you are having to come help these seniors, right? But if we're already here and providing the support, that resource can be used somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I think it's a complement to what the city already has.
So it develops a proactive group that provides the city
Provide support to the city.
Support the city.
provides and supports the city.
Promotes.
Event of disaster.
Enhances their infrastructure.
Yeah.
Which is something
That's a
that's
good-
not being addressed right now.
Support. The seniors. The city's emergency plan.
So contributing, number one, in the narrative would be, it contributes to a safe environment for the senior population. It also develops a proactive group that provides the city additional support.
In executing the emergency plan.
Emergency plan.
Provides the city additional support.
There's some
During
there's some of the words.
During an emergency.
There's some of the words here already that were written out. This outline strategies to better assist and meet the needs of seniors for future public health emergencies. This is a bolt-on to the city program. They're collaborative and they coordinate, but we haven't be specific. Is that right, Rich? For here?
Yeah.
Correct.
Or another way.
So maybe the third one covers the second one as well, supports and enhances the city's emergency plan. Develops a proactive group that provides support for the senior population during an emergency.
And then the third one can be supports and enhance
The emergency
the
plan.
city emergency plan, I would think.
Developed a proactive group that provides and supports the senior population during an emergency. And supports, this also supports and enhances the city's emergency plan.
Yeah. Okay.
That's on the narrative. Red. Senior center staff.
Then coordinate with any other emergency services.
Funding won't be needed.
Well,
Right.
you've been approved for funding.
Are you okay for that objective? Goal number 3. Two ladies that, should work on your own, so I'll let, do you want to speak to that? You want to?
It's the first time I've seen the girls, Gina's. Goal number 2, though, that was the, content there, looks like it can go into 3.
You both did.
That's much more.
Goal number 2, that's labeled goal number 2.
No, that's goal number 3.
Oh, that is 3.
I want my.
Okay.
Yeah, my notes are kind of weirdly typed. I was thinking it was
Yeah.
just gonna
Oh,
be
no,
us
oh,
three
I'm
sitting
thinking
down to
this
talk
all-
about that goal. So I was just making notes, and I'm like,
That's why I emailed you. Can I ask this to be back? I thought it was great, Gina. I thought it was great.
I was looking at the goal number 3, the main focus would be, maybe people may not agree with this, but contribute to optimal health and wellness among the senior population. And that's very, very broad. So we might want to look at something more narrow. But there, the areas that you address and more specifically, all contribute to that: nutrition, safety, legal issues, mobility, mental health, physical health. There's so much under that: nutrition, counseling, personal care, maintain. If we need to make that less broad is what I'm thinking, goal number 3. I don't know if there's a way to make that more specific.
What, 3?
Yeah.
How do you measure that? How do you measure that? How do you measure those?
Can I ask you?
Well, it would be measured of, that the objective 3 is evaluate the effectiveness of the programs. And the way you would do that would be by looking at before and after. They should do an initial needs assessment. And then you would look after you say you initiate some nutrition counseling, and then you would look at, you know,
Progress or lack.
how have we improved, do people, how do they respond to this counseling?
Yeah.
It would be, we would have to,
Gotta be measurable.
yeah, it has to be measured.
I ask you a question. When you say contribute to the optimal health and wellness, assuming that in doing this, you're not intending to cover everything possible under this topic, so.
Well, these areas do contribute to optimal health and wellness. The areas that you would pinpoint. And what I'm saying is, maybe we need to say we are gonna focus on more specific areas, not just look at everything that's listed here, transportation, nutrition, mental health, physical health.
I guess I was kind of looking at it, it gives you the ability to decide what you want to.
Right.
And so that specific, then you find out, well, it wasn't quite what I wanted to cover. This at least gives you the ability to kind of hone in on what you want, but it's still within your goals.
Right.
So maybe the goal should be that it's, you're going to identify and facilitate programs and activities for seniors to optimize their health and wellness.
Yeah.
Just kind of twist that sentence, first sentence around a little bit.
That optimize.
Okay, what did I say? To identify and facilitate programs for seniors to
For seniors.
optimize their health and wellness.
Well, that's pretty much, yeah,
That's
the way it's
basically what
stated.
you got.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know, if we could go with that as an overall goal, and then once we're specific about the areas we're looking at. Right.
Okay,
Right.
so by saying, if I can be the devil's advocate here. Identify and facilitate, that means you guys are doing something with that. So are you folks going to facilitate the implementation of these programs? So if you put that as
Probably not.
if you put that as a goal, so maybe it is identifying what those are,
Right.
bringing them to us. Because I'm not sure that's a lot of work for a group that meets once a month.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, maybe we could just say support, identify and support the implementation. Through recommendations,
Identify and recommend,
recommend.
would that be a better way to put that?
That includes someone like the gal that takes blood pressures.
Oh, good.
Okay.
You know.
And blood pressure check.
So you need to say that again.
We used to have that.
No,
we
What's
used
the
to
work
have-
hours? How many people come to work?
I guess my
Right.
question would be, if we put it like you, who's gonna do this? So we're the one that's making
Recommendation
the
versus implementation.
recommendations for the
Yeah.
goals. They identify programs and activities that contribute to health and wellness of our population. And
Do you then list
collaboration, then we're gonna.
the leaders of the?
You're still working on the goal.
We need help. Yeah.
Identify.
Find programs and activities that contribute to wellness and health for the senior population. And if this is our goals, I would think it would be us trying to do that. Hopefully in our strategy, that we would get other seniors within the senior center
Well, a group, what the folks that do the exercises, the gal that takes blood pressures. So just put these all together. Is that what you're saying?
So I give you one example, and that's why I question the facilitator. There is a member of Kenai Senior Connection, happens to be related, very close to a member of Council on Aging. And he is always thinking. And he tells me, he comes in, I had an idea. And the thing of it is I so appreciate it. He thinks he might be bugging me, but it is appreciated because by 5 o'clock at night, there's nothing left in here to spin. And Red and I talk about this a lot. And so what he does is he comes up with fundraising opportunities for us. And I think that's a welcome thing to appreciate. So that as this group looking at, and I quote what you said last month, because what I wrote is healthy lifestyles and community. Build in steps to reaching seniors in the community, not just the seniors that come to the senior center. Because the Council on Aging is for the residents, seniors of the city of Kenai.
Right.
And I really appreciate it. And so it is easy to cater to those who are here all the time. But how do we get those others in? Like last year, you recommended having bring a friend to lunch, and those sort of things. Those would be seeing ideas that you gave me, seeing things like that coming to us and let us facilitate them and bring them. So does that make sense? Just makes us work harder. Okay, so identify programs and activities that contribute to the health and wellness among the senior population. Contribute to the health and wellness of the senior population. That's the objective.
Read it one more time.
Identify programs and activities
Optimal health and wellness.
that optimize health and wellness, enhances.
Continued independence. Or maybe that's just putting too much in there.
There's a word.
Just health and wellness, that might come down.
Focus. Programs, activities that contribute.
Contribute to the health and wellness of the senior population.
And what about into increasing health?
Okay.
Your whole point.
Going once, going twice, are we going for increasing? Okay. Okay, so identify programs and activities that increase the health and wellness of the senior population.
I mean, we have to know what their needs are.
Yeah.
Support.
Again.
I have
Now that
several
we've
words that
changed
could
it
go
a
in
few
there.
times.
Identify programs and
Enable,
activities.
enable.
Okay, identify programs and activities that contribute, support. What did you say?
It's important to use the word enable.
Enable.
Increase.
To
Increase
increase
health and
needs in
wellness of
there.
the senior population.
somewhere to their needs, to define the needs.
That may be a strategy.
Strategy,
Oh.
absolutely.
I've played that card a few times.
Rachel, when we would do our goals for council on aging, we used a whiteboard. Oh, okay, that's good for this year. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
long term, good, everything. And now
The city
we're
changed
really,
things.
it did. We really, and yeah. So, but it causes you to think. It causes you to think on.
No, I'm tired.
Just playing cards all afternoon.
I know. Identify programs and activities They contribute to the health and wellness of the senior population.
The increasing on the wellness.
They contribute to the increasing health and
Because we want
wellness.
them to get healthier,
Optimal
to continually increase.
Level.
More healthy, right?
levels.
Because, yeah. As healthy as we can be, or as long as we can be.
One more time.
Yeah.
Identify programs and activities that contribute to the increasing health and wellness of the senior population.
Oh. that's
Very good.
increasing.
Okay,
Gets to the point quickly.
I'm telling you. I'm not doing it.
Say now,
It's even there, it's the concept behind, not the doing, the concept.
So Mark, what's your strategy?
Okay, the strategy would be, what would the objectives are, I guess, the objective one. Before we identify specific areas, we should send out a needs assessment. To, I don't know how we identify the population. If we could get broader than population, the survey, other than the numbers that you have here at the senior center, I don't know how we go about doing that.
So could we ask the people that are in the wellness program now, the leaders of that program, to devise a evaluation or a questionnaire as to what?
Sending out the questionnaire, the results of that questionnaire will be self-nominating for our
Right.
objectives. That would better define.
so you're sending it out to people who are here in the wellness program? Who are in the
No,
exercise?
it's throughout our senior population, and then how do you reach people, seniors in the community?
Right.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think, that reporter, doesn't that come out like monthly or something?
I think it done.
does it exist?
It doesn't exist anymore.
What is the one that I get in my mailbox
Only once a week.
that has the little salmon in that you
Um,
try to
What's
find?
an advertisement?
Well, that's that little newspaper.
And I
Okay,
haven't been able to think of the name. I was thinking it was maybe the Readout Reporter, but obviously it's not that then. But anyway, that's what I was thinking, if we could put like questionnaire or something in that.
In that, it's something that,
That would go out in
Yeah.
every mailbox, you know? If you have a mother that is elderly and, you know, what do you think she needs? And, you know, or if you're in Kenai, what would you like to see? Whatever we come up with,
And you could
Whatever.
provide-
be a way to reach people. I was trying to think of a way to reach people that aren't here at the senior center. Shut-ins and stuff, because the shut-in would still receive mail.
do we ask the city to send out a survey for us?
Yeah, I went back to my garbage
That-
can to
like
try to
the
find my
citizens
thing that came and it was
Um,
Do they still have health fairs?
What?
Health fairs.
They have one, I believe, at the hospital once a year for.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is it open to everybody? I didn't
No,
think
they have
so.
a,
The answer is no.
sometimes they have
They-
them at the college.
they,
and-
trying to see, I just got
that's
this.
the senior voice, is that the one that?
No.
Not the senior.
Because
No,
it's
it's not the senior
just
voice.
comes in our mailbox, and so it would be a way to reach.
What kind of
Every
content does it have?
It has, businesses
I
in
don't
the
know if
area.
it's one of that. Newsletter, you could put
It
it-
has a green page for kids to. I think it comes through the Clarion's office. But maybe not, I don't know. I couldn't think, I can't remember the name, but I just remember telling the grandkids, oh, you should look for the little salmon in all these ads because you can win
It's
$100.
like a shopper, isn't it?
So,
And
so,
it has little stories and stuff of stuff happening in the area.
I was trying to find it on my email, but the borough sent back in the end of January, the grants administrator for the borough sent out a chart because they fund, this year we'll get 185,000. So they fund senior centers. There's about almost $1 million that's spread out among all the senior centers in the Kenai Peninsula Borough. So basically on the peninsula. And they said in there, the Kenai Senior Center has 25% of the Kenai, our area that we reach. Now that does include Salamantoff and Casila area and K Beach, most of K Beach. So 25% of all the seniors on the peninsula that the Kenai Senior Center services that, which is why we get more money than anybody else. So I would the borough could give us the statistics on how many seniors live within, remember we're commissioned for the city of Kenai. So I would see that would go out to city of Kenai residents. And I would think that we could get that from the borough who is 60 or older. Are you looking to send it to everybody in the city? Anybody who's in the city of Kenai? Because they may have parents or know somebody, or are you just looking for specific needs for senior population?
Specific needs for senior population.
So you're only targeting households that you know that are over a certain age. Okay,
I wasn't sure that we could get a list of, those.
Pretty sure
people
we
or
could.
not. Okay,
Pretty sure
maybe
we-
that would be better than.
okay, if we could do that, so there's two there, so you're looking at, I'm guessing it's over 7,000. Well, no, that's just the amount of people, that's not the amount of households, right? So, okay, so that's a significant mail out for doing something like that, whereas if you're just reaching the amount, say,
Get the newspaper.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what's your strategies then?
Definitely can't go with that objective design. We have to, point, then
You could design your own survey.
be assigned as George to the needs assessment would be development of a needs assessment. Do they, specify population? To identify the needs of the elderly population, the identified areas of concern. And we could list the ones that we want to address in the survey. Person we're assigning this to is what I'm not sure of. But you say assign to, assign this chore of the
Would you want to come, and I'm sorry if I'm throwing too much out there, but would you want to come at it from, again, educating the community as to what the senior center actually is and the programs that we offer? You might get more of a reception if they get a needs assessment in the mail. People are so fraught with.
yeah.
Other. Forum. We run a lot of this front run, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Is to. Someone get. Here's what we do. Just kind lay out a 30,000, using it, maybe about it. Following up with a specific question, or depending on the feedback you may get, you design how you're going to target people that you want a specific response from. That
I like Gina's idea, maybe better if we could find out what that little newspaper, I mean, we could, that would be good publicity.
Both.
It'd be good publicity. And then I wonder if there's something out there that's for already giving input to. And I say that as I've had a woman for the past 6 months call me every so many weeks, and she's with the US Census. And it's related to seniors asking certain questions about health and wellness.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
which group is she with? Is she
She's with the US population.
census we get every 10 years, those people.
I mean, they're asking questions, you know, what's your age? I'm looking for, you were drawn because you're within that senior age group, and I want to know what your household is, and what your population is, and what's the range of your income, and yeah.
Too quick.
Telephone.
Yeah.
Telephone calls.
Big is your house, and, oh, she schedules appointments with you. It was weird.
But if we, just a random population, but we would need some assistance with somebody who's skilled in developing a really short, effective survey of the general population. It could be, it wouldn't even have to be the senior population, it's the general. And that feedback on, you know, like if you had a list of things that you could, well, I really would like to see this or this or this. And just to get a feeling of what the needs are. And it would be easy to come up with the areas that you want them to list as most needed to least needed. But the idea of actually putting it together and survey them professionally and randomized, so you don't have to worry about getting thousands of people. Maybe 100 or 200 would do it.
So could you broaden out your,
Broaden it to
broaden
get,
out your strategy
yeah.
to say that you would research avenues to gain feedback on current needs
But
of
if-
senior population?
but do we have anybody in the city that could do this, that could look at it for us, doing the survey of the population, a randomized?
So that depends, Barbara, it depends, are you gonna do it through mail, you're gonna do it through electronic version, you're gonna do it through the newspaper, or you're gonna do it on the radio?
On the radio?
So there's multiple ways of, that's why I wonder if you should broaden that and say that your time focused on, okay, researching what are the ways you can do it, you know, and bring those back and say, and then you talk about it.
Would you, at the radio, would be willing to do sound off session for the elderly?
Absolutely.
Sure would.
Where they could call in to sound off and say, so what our needs are and stuff.
We'll have them read on the radio with them. I'll be on the radio with them and too. So I will stay.
This guy just add on, you know, the survey, but you don't bury the lead. You have to have a precursor saying, this is the senior center, and then we identify our programs. And in a sentence or a concise paragraph, identify what we do and what we don't. Formulate, that would cut out a lot of these
Right.
questions of information that people think they know, and they'll be able to focus on the response we want.
So one of our strategies then would be to do a survey.
for
To research
health?
avenues of implementing a survey, because there's several different things. So we have to kind of look at what's gonna work best probably, if you're talking strategies, then probably we.
Strategies and avenues? Or just avenues? So one of them would be research avenues to gain feedback on current needs of senior population.
That would be a start, I would think.
Did you say that one more time? I didn't hear.
Research avenues, whether mail, electronic, radio, newspaper, however you're gonna do that. We might even get on TV, you never know. Research avenues to gain feedback on current needs of senior population in Kenai. And then number 2, identify senior center programs to share with the residents.
Sounds good.
Strategy. Benefit the city.
The needs seniors more specific and increase their health and wellness. Two, we look at what we've already are offering and can see if around, or it would just give us a broad, a good overview of.
But when we do that, are we, and that we. Focused on meal.
No, that's focused on the services
Sure,
provided
senior
and
center.
and whether or not they're happy with their services.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I mean, it could complement what you're gonna do. It could tell us if, you know, people really don't want Tai Chi on Thursdays. I mean, they have the right to say how they feel. Do they have the time? Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Can we add in the narrative, something that you mentioned last month, and that your reach senior is not actively participating in the senior center?
Right. Reaching a broader swath of the population.
So would you say reaching a broader population of seniors than?
Portion. Representation. Senior.
So the narrative says increase health and wellness for seniors, benefit the needs of the senior population. Which is a broader population of seniors than those, do you want to put than those actively participating in the senior center? Than those actively participating in the senior center?
And
So if you say, maybe I'm trying to get this, but if you're focusing on this survey just for seniors, how many times have we had family, daughters and sons that have come in and wanted to know what kind of activities we have for our seniors? I think we need to how we
Broaden the approach.
broaden it a little bit. And those same people might be in their 50s that are getting ready to reach their 60s, but they're looking at their parents to see how they can enhance their living.
Waiting list.
Yeah.
Are on the waiting list because their kids live here. In the area. Collaboration, who needs to be involved? All of you. So senior center staff. Council on Aging Commission. Funding, we don't know funding. We're gonna have to wait on, we don't know. I have some funding. Not very much.
Well, we said if we target some of the shut-ins, then there's grants that we can apply for them.
Time to complete this year.
Kathy, do you know how many seniors actually visit here?
On a monthly basis, we run 250 to 300. When you look at the active, people during the summer, it's more. It is, but we have a lot of activity participation stuff. We have more people participate doing different things than they do coming in to eat lunch. Eating lunch is one of the lower participation things right now. We have more people coming in for exercise and
300 compared to how many in the area?
So we draw from say, we draw from seniors. Mostly seniors.
I would think so.
Do the majority of them come in just for that, and they? Well, other activities too.
Notice again, repeaters aside from some of the select divisions.
So as a percentage, how many seniors participate here? 80%?
People come in for lunch and then participate.
No, how many people physically come into this location compared to the
The population of seniors
population of seniors?
Yeah.
in our,
I'm surprised when people come in from social security and they're a senior, or I see them at a restaurant, or I've said this for years in the obituary. And I think, why didn't we know you? Why didn't we know them? They were lifelong from Kenai. They lived here for a long time. So, that's we aren't everybody's cup of tea. And,
No idea.
well, I would guess, I don't know what the senior population is of Kenai per se. But, if it's, I'm 450, out of, there's 450 seniors, maybe 500 in Kenai. We see a lot of seniors from other senior centers here too. They come in and have lunch. And we have a lot of other seniors come in from exercising. So. I asked something. If we're done with those, Red, when is the survey going out?
Finalized. I'd like to get it out as fast as possible, so we have extra time for.
So you do need us to discuss that.
I basically just want people to read in it. I think on it, there's only 2 questions that the state requires that we have. Find it.
Yes, please do that for a moment. Here's an extra.
The only question
on the survey.
on the survey. So question 12 and 13, those are the only 2 that are required by the state of Alaska. If we have to meet 80% on both of them. To meet the requirement. Everything else is negotiable. I wasn't going to put the ones that had to do with the front desk back in there. That was for me to measure the people that were training at the time. At this moment, we have a stellar group of ladies manning the front desk. So it's not something that I really need to measure. But I would like some input on it, and sincere, that might be the red pennant, yep. Or give me ideas, other ways you think I can ask. But it said to complete all spots is because if they don't, it skews the data. And if they don't even put the year, so some are so proud that they will not put the year they're born, even though it is completely anonymous. If I do not have the year you're born, I do not know that you are of the target demographic. So I can't count it at all. So, and I try to explain this every single year. The first year I did SurveyMonkey, it did really well. Everybody was excited that we had tech. And then last year, I think people totally used it. And SurveyMonkey is actually friendlier because they can't move on to the next question until they've answered the current question. So I mean, I will still attempt to use tech moving forward, but I would just really like to overhaul this survey. So if you can make your comments all over it and then let me have them, I'd be eternally grateful.
I just glanced at it before here and I was wondering, you already have the data on some of these questions. Like, how often do you use transportation services? But you already know exactly how many people use your transportation.
So yes and no. I still need to feedback as to how often, because there are some people that they're not registered, so to speak. So it's not counted in that data, or I can't just say that, yes, we had X amount of rides here. I give you a great example. So we had one gentleman who is actually homebound most of the time. He comes in here to eat lunch as fast as he can and go back home. And that's fine, he's getting out every day. But the other day, we had some things that needed to go to Goodwill in Soldotna. And so he heard the driver talking to me and he said, "You never get to Goodwill there. Can I go with you?" I said, "Yeah, at that time." So they went in, and that's actually homemaker, that's shopping assistance. But it also got him to another community, that he's not normally signed up for that service. So yeah, having them give the feedback on this is very helpful.
I have one observation.
I think my favorite tidbit, I think it was you, Kit. Money saving. That it still has to happen yet, like getting rid of the individual butter pats that
Yes.
happened up into the
Yes.
trash. I think would be an excellent thing to get rid of. I just think,
Customers, it's one time I see them on the
all
table.
right? And I'm going to trash if they don't need them. So, yeah.
Question could go along here, and like here on number 9, the transportation, how often, okay, no answer. Well, some of these, like safety for the priority, is that referring to the transportation, or then is this for the building at hand? What I'm saying is that,
Transportation would be for the driver. Is that what you're asking?
yeah, so I mean, from 9 on down, then does that pertain to transportation, or is it relate back to?
Do you use the Kenai
Yeah.
Senior Center Transportation Services, and how often?
So no answer.
Some use it occasionally, so maybe they use a doctor's appointment twice a
But
year.
then you come down here, and so
I
this.
see what you're saying.
Okay, or say no answer, if it's something that's.
So most of the time when they don't have an answer, they just leave it blank instead of putting none of the time.
Sure.
But I love this, see, that's not something I caught, so yes, this should be, do you feel that all Kenai Senior Center transportation staff have your safety as their main priority, or something along that line? Correct, so these are all
Just.
simple thoughts, yes, and that's exactly what I would like. I'm not in love with this survey. And I would like to make it better.
So would you like them to take this? Do you
Yes,
want them to
please.
discuss it, or do you want them to take it
I would like them to take it so they have time to think about it and turn it out to me and give me it back. I got your notes, Henry, I just haven't had time to look at it yet, so I appreciate that. And hopefully by the first of the month, that's all right, by April first. Gives me plenty of time to create a survey monkey and get that out as well.
Ready to close that door?
Well, what she's doing is getting ready for bridge. There's going to be here in about 10 minutes. So that's why. So she's just.
Presentation. Well, no, it shouldn't make a difference. You figure it out.
Well, we have questions for you.
Yes.
When you say what year were you born? What, like, how old are you?
The state actually wants the year,
Okay.
because, you know, I mean, you could lie on the year too, I don't understand the difference really, but
If they don't sort it in.
it's, I mean, the target population is 60 and over, so. I mean, I don't see any reason why you couldn't, I've never had anybody come in and audit my surveys, so
But how many people don't put that in?
I would say probably 5 of every 20. So that's what, that's 25% that I can't count, yeah,
But do you think that they would do it if you said how old are you?
maybe. I could actually make it either, what year are you born, how old are you, yeah, I could put them both together and see which one they answer. For 60 hours.
Everybody can get questions or answer questions to,
Yes, please.
and then if there isn't anything else for our work session, we need to adjourn and move into our regular meeting.
You found page one. Just a quick suggestion.